You know how the saying goes. Hell has no fury like a woman scorned. And unfortunately for Diddy, he's about to find that out the hard way. Because it's now being reported that his ex, Cassie, if you can even call her an ex, is working with the feds to help take Diddy down. Now, Cassie and Diddy were together for over 10 years. And I say together because it seems like when you date Diddy, you're kind of in like a open relationship where Diddy does whatever he wants with whoever he wants. And maybe you get to do things with other people too, but it's while Diddy watches. If there's any little kids in the room where you're watching this video right now, you might want to make them cover their ears or step out because we're going to dive into some things that aren't appropriate for kids. But then again, we kind of talk about things that aren't appropriate for kids all day on this channel. But Cassie, like I said, and Diddy, they were intertwined, let's say, for over 10 years. A lot of people on the outside, not knowing what was really going on, they viewed it as Cassie being Diddy's girlfriend. But in reality, Cassie was Diddy's what you would call a bottom, B-I-T-C-H, okay? And Diddy was kind of like her pimp, in a way. He would use Cassie allegedly almost as leverage with people, pass her off to other powerful people for the night. He would send Cassie out to go find other women for them to sleep with or for him to sleep with. And one of his favorite things to do is he would send Cassie out, allegedly, he would send her out on the town to find the dude with the biggest D, okay, that she could. And she would bring these dudes home and have sex with them in front of Diddy, all while they were on video. They didn't know that, but Diddy knew it because he got the hidden cameras everywhere. So he would basically use her to do all of that stuff. Now, I'm not going to judge anyone for their kinks. Do whatever you want to do. But obviously, over time, you know, Cassie grew some resentment towards Diddy for this. Now, Cassie was of age, you know, so I think that's important to note. But as I said, she was there for over 10 years. And she was instrumental in kind of keeping this whole thing running. These sexcapades and these crazy parties and all of this stuff. She was instrumental in keeping it running because she was Diddy's bottom, B-I-T-C-H. His right-hand gal, you know what I mean? So we always see like these powerful men. They always have this woman figure by their side. You know who had, you know who. I can't even say their names on here, but I think you all get it. Well, you know, Cassie filed this lawsuit against Diddy, and that's when a lot of this stuff started coming out. And Diddy settled the lawsuit, I think it was like the day after she filed it. He paid her off a bunch of money, and now I think he's hoping that he went ahead and paid her off well before any of that information got out there. Because it looks like she is, just like I said, she was instrumental in keeping Diddy's little empire afloat. She was instrumental in keeping his operation working, and now she's going to be instrumental in taking him down. Because I know they're just now coming out with reports that she's working with the feds, but she's been working with the feds for weeks. I think a lot of the information that she has, that she probably provided law enforcement, is what gave them, you know, basically the go-ahead to go ahead and start searching his homes and stuff like that. A lot of this information is being provided by her. And when you're someone like Cassie, in Cassie's position in Diddy's life, you know that she has all the information. all the dirt you can possibly think of. And I'm sure Diddy questioned the loyalty of a lot of different people around him throughout different points in his life. But when you got this woman who's dedicated herself for you, basically doing anything you ask of her, he probably was confident in, giving her a lot of information, talking in front of her, having conversations in front of her. And like I said, he used her. He used her in many ways, right? So whatever information that the feds need to take Diddy down, Cassie has all of that information. And I'm assuming Cassie knows a lot more secrets and a lot more details than any of the stuff that we've heard. So Cassie would be the very last person that Diddy would want to be working with the feds right now. But she is, and she is not alone. But I want to go ahead and roll this news clip really quickly. As you watch it, let me know your thoughts in the comments, hit the thumbs up, and then after the clip, I'm going to be right back with more thoughts.
Sean Combs is now being sued there are 5 different lawsuits alleging very similar kinds of crimes, all of them deeply distressing, forcible rape, sexual abuse. Most of the lawsuits are filed by women. One of them is filed by a man named Rodney Jones, who filed a lawsuit in February claiming, among other things, that Sean Combs bragged openly about committing the shooting and that he said he bribed witnesses and jurors to get acquitted. Allegations of jury tampering, I mean, that is really serious. And these are just revealed in this lawsuit just filed a couple of months ago.
It's horrible. It took 24 years for this to come out. What saddens me is the fact that, Ms. Rubin has been screaming this forever. But, I hope justice is served. It's unfortunate that a lot of these cases, you lose in the court of public opinion and in the courtroom. Mr. Combs has every right to defend himself just like any other citizen. He's not the judge or the jury, though. He is not the witnesses decided to go on the stand and change their statements. And the prosecutors could have came with a better argument. Everybody played a part, even the media. They chose to only, interview the celebrities in the case. Even networks, they only did documentaries and interviews with the celebrities in the case. They did not care to listen to Natalia Rubin at all for over 24 years.
Somebody who had a front row seat to what happened that night, one of the most important witnesses was Jennifer Lopez. Has she ever spoken about what happened that night?
I could not find anything. The only article, the only thing I saw was like an AOL interview, and she basically talked about her relationship with Mr. Combs, and she said it ended in a quote-unquote bang.
Right, but we know that she also was arrested the night of the shooting, spent about 12 or 14 hours in a jail cell until she was released. She certainly had to see what actually happened, and if these charges that he was bribing people are true, she would know it.
I believe she knows what happened. Everybody in that room knows the truth. It's going to take for them to be real and be honest in order for her to see justice.
Leah Gordon, great to talk to you. Congratulations on the documentary. And my gosh, who would have dreamed that your documentary would now become a possible brand new criminal case? Stay tuned.
Now, I know a lot of people are going to be viewing Cassie as, a victim in this situation. And I want to be clear here before people try to cancel me for like the 7th time this week. I'm not saying that Cassie is not a victim, okay? That's not what I'm trying to say. But if all of these allegations are true and everything that we're hearing is true, then Cassie took part in, I guess you could say, victimizing other people. Cassie took part in helping Diddy do the things that Diddy did. And I honestly, looking at the situation now, I don't feel like Cassie is trying to take Diddy down because she had this awakening moment and she realizes all of this stuff is wrong. I think it's because she has animosity towards Diddy. Now, you won't read this in the reports and in the news stories. You won't see them talking about this on CNN. But if you have been paying attention to Diddy's situation, prior to all of these allegations and all of this drama, you know that, like I said earlier, Diddy and Cassie were involved for over a decade. And even though Diddy was making Cassie do this and do that, sending Cassie off to sleep with other people, pumping her full of stuff and having her sleep with this dude and that girl and that girl, Cassie wanted a relationship with Diddy. Cassie wanted to get married. But Diddy, being Diddy, Diddy's going to do what Diddy does, and Diddy diddles, okay? Diddy's going to diddly do what he diddly does. So throughout this whole process of what Diddy was doing to Cassie and other people, with the help of Cassie, Cassie still wanted nothing more than for Diddy to commit to her. She thought that if she went out here and did all of these things, that eventually he would make her more than just the bottom B-I-T-C-H. She would be his queen. They would get married. And Cassie got to the point where she wanted to have kids. She was getting older. And Diddy was getting older too. And I think in her mind, you know, because there was such an age gap between the two, I think in her mind that she thought that eventually Diddy would finally reach an age where he matures enough to kind of want to settle down. And then she would be here. She would be right there after doing all of the dirt that Diddy wanted her to do for over 10 years. But that day never came. That day never came. Diddy never wanted to commit. Diddy didn't want a child with her. Diddy wanted to use her to do what he wanted to use her to do. And that's where Diddy effed up. Because in the grand scheme of things, in the long run, I think we're going to find that Cassie is kind of at the center of taking Diddy down. But with all of that being said, let me know your thoughts about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, if you want to donate to the channel, you can do so via Cash App, or you can donate via Super Thanks, or for free, you could help the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video. But with that being said, I'll talk to you all soon in the next one.